Here comes!
Randy Orton got a massive pop for his return at Survivor Series, but why do the fans love the Viper so much? He's been on WWE TV since I was in high school. He was a generic babyface for a bit, then he returned from injury as the future of Evolution, and man oh man has he lived up to those expectations. Endless championships and main events have followed, including Royal Rumble wins and main eventing Wrestlemania. Here are Randy Orton's greatest moments, starting with his secret first world title win, SummerSlam 2004.
And, oh my God! RKO out of nowhere!
Why is it a secret? Because it was against Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, you hear that, WWE? We all remember, so stop being so weird about it. Chris Benoit, in his lone world title victory, dropped the belt to up-and-comer Randy Orton in the main event of SummerSlam 2004. Randy is the youngest world title holder in WWE history at 24 years of age, but WWE always has to dance around this amazing accomplishment because of his opponent's legacy. The real reason we should dance around it was the reign wasn't that great, but that's a story for another day. His awesome run as Intercontinental Champion 2003 and 2004.
Take it right off that. Oh, no!
When Randy Orton dropped RVD with one of the earliest RKOs at Armageddon 2003, he started one of the greatest reigns as Intercontinental Champion in history. His work with the title as a member of Evolution greatly elevated the belt and made it feel like whoever would defeat him would be a made man. You know it's a good IC title run when the belt is elevated by the person wearing it. Different from his US title run in 2018, the IC title run wasn't an Orton who had been a world champion multiple times. He elevated it by his potential alone, and that's pretty special. His hardcore match against Mick Foley, Backlash 2004.
Here comes!
Younger fans might not remember this one, and if you don't, you should absolutely go back and watch it. It's a hardcore match in the most brutal way, and Orton doesn't shy away from any of the crazy spots. The most legendary shot in the match is Orton going for an RKO, but Foley tossing him right into a pile of thumbtacks. Orton's face after this was featured on WWE highlights for years to come, and it can be argued that it's not even the most brutal part of the match. A barbed wire baseball bat was used on a young Orton's forehead, and on another part of him we'd rather not mention. His legendary feud with The Undertaker. To further establish Orton as a main event player, he entered into a long feud with The Undertaker in 2005. There were strong rumors that he would be the one to end The Undertaker's Wrestlemania streak, and you can feel it during their match. He didn't wind up doing that, but fans bought into Orton more as a character after his victories over the Dead Man at SummerSlam and No Mercy. Orton and his father locked The Undertaker in a casket and set it on fire, only for the Dead Man to return months later and defeat Orton in a Hell in a Cell match. Still, the fans' respect for Orton was growing. Rated RKO 2006 to 2007.
Right, though. We won after this match. It's over. We got this. I could have solved it before the match. We might have.
Two guys who were relatively fresh to the main event scene were Orton along with his new partner Edge. The two teamed up to be a believable force to go up against the newly reformed D-Generation X. Both men could cut promos, both men could go in the ring, and both men were absolutely hated by WWE fans. They were perfect heels and are long remembered by WWE fans not just for who they were, but for the legends they became. They briefly reunited in the 2020 Royal Rumble when Edge returned after a 9-year layoff, but soon became bitter rivals. The Legacy 2008 to 2010. The Legacy was a three-person group consisting of Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr. All three men had legendary fathers in the business, and their name, The Legacy, represented that. Rhodes and DiBiase were essentially goons for Orton, with the two capturing the tag titles but never really being elevated as single stars. By using the two of them, Orton secured multiple world title wins and won the 2009 Royal Rumble outright. But Orton was clearly using the two, and when things went sour, he beat the two of them in a three-way match at WrestleMania. The main villain 2011 onwards.
We will
After the Legacy disbanded, Orton was a made man in WWE. He had multiple world titles to his name, Wrestlemania main events, and a Royal Rumble win. He was in a prime position to become WWE's main villain, and that he did. By the time 2013 rolled around and Triple H's The Authority group needed a main event player who could still go in the ring, Orton was the easy choice. Many titles and matches were won by Orton with the help of outside interference from Triple H, Corporate Kane, Big Show, Seth Rollins, and whoever else the villain saw as useful at that time. Orton was firmly established as the main villain of WWE, and it didn't look like much would change. The Wyatt family, 2016 to 2017. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, Randy Orton? How bizarre is it that Randy Orton was a member of the Wyatt family, and not someone who was kidnapped and forced to join like Daniel Bryan, a legit, respected, bona fide member of the cult-like group. It's a bit sad now because his time in the Wyatts was when only Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt himself were healthy enough to perform. With both men having since passed on, it's curious to wonder how Orton thinks of his time in the group. It made for great TV, and after winning another Royal Rumble in 2017, the blow-off match was at WrestleMania that year. It sure was goofy, but it led to another world title win for Randy Orton. A champion in 3 different decades.
Everything that was normal in that entire match.
Randy Orton won several world titles in the 2000s. He won a whole bunch more in the 2010s. After defeating Drew McIntyre at Hell in the Cell 2020, Orton became perhaps the first person to win a world title in 3 different decades without any BS attached. I say that because Hulk Hogan won WWE world titles in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, but by the 2000s it was clear WWE was doing fan service and perhaps a little bit of Hogan service as well, as Hogan clearly couldn't go in the ring the way that he used to. Orton won the world title in 2020 and it didn't look silly for a second. He still looked just as good as he did all the way back in 2004, and I would argue even better. RK Bro, 2021 to 2022.
Beautiful. No! Man's on his feet.
The last we saw of Orton before his return at Survivor Series 2023 was a great tag team with fellow badass Matt Riddle called RK Bro. The team was massively over with fans, as you could tell the two genuinely liked each other and didn't have to fake it. The sky was the limit for this team, ideally leading to a breakup that would elevate Riddle to the main event scene. Sadly, Orton badly injured his back, and while he was on the shelf, Riddle was released by the WWE. No one knows how great this team and feud could have become, and it's a shame we won't get to revisit it. That concludes our list of why fans are so excited for the return of the Viper. Which moments did we miss? Let us know in the comments below.